CO2.
Hey, this your boy Kev Hick. You watching the CO2 Rawcast.
You are experiencing the CO2 Carbon Ops Rawcast. Let's begin.
That's right. And you ain't said it no better. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, everybody. You are rocking with the team, with the crew, with the folks. This is the CO2 Carbon Ops Rawcast with your boy, Diggy Jones.
You do. Merciless Reese L. Black.
Mr. Black.
I'm not going to say I'm my traditional man, you know what I mean? But damn, because we got a supersized guest in the building today. This is, of course, as I've said, with the black and the gold, it's the Winner's Lounge. You know what time it is. We're about to do something really cool, man. So we're switching up the game a little bit, man. So y'all just enjoy this episode. We got a heavy hitter in the game. As you can see, we rocking the caps today. That is in honor of our guest. I'm not going to tell you who it is real quick because we got to do the intro. But let's get ready. This is the Winner's Lounge.
You are cordially invited to attend the Winner's Lounge with special guest, expert dating coach, Kev Hick. YouTube and podcast creator of Kev Hick Talks Guys with Girls and co-host of the Fatherhood Village podcast. Let's begin.
All right. Welcome to the Winner's Lounge. What you got, good sir?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the encore presentation of the Winner's Lounge. You didn't think we was going to go twice in a row, did you? This is how we do it here. Today, we got a hard hit up in this building today.
Yes, sir.
Let me calm down.
Yeah,
because guess what? Today, we talking to you ladies out there.
Yes.
And yeah, we brought a familiar face that you ladies love. My man hails out of the Midwest.
Yes. My
man is founder of the YBS method. Probably one of the best and most quietest, subtle relationship coaches on the planet. And of course, this man's brand is off the hook, about to touch 300 long on YouTube as far as subscribers go.
Hey.
The influencer of all influencers when it comes to the space, when it comes to dating and relationship of social significance.
Hey.
Raise your damn
No,
glasses.
like high on this one. High.
Raise
for
your
this
damn glasses. To the one and only, to the big brother that your ass has never had before.
Yeah.
The Kev Hick of Talk Guys with Girls.
Hey.
Welcome to Winner's Lounge.
I'm honored, man. Man, you sound better than I do. I'm a little surprised.
You like that? You like that? We show love on this show, man. We show mad love on this show. How you doing, brother? How you been?
Man, I'm good, man. Trying to prosper, trying to have my family straight, man. Doing that man shit. You know what I'm saying?
Love it, man. You've been winning, man, on this YouTube thing, and
Winning quietly though.
yeah, like the crazy part is for all the people that know you, there's a whole like world that we've been a part of that maybe people aren't familiar with you, which is crazy. So just real quick before we get into the heavy, like give us a little bit of your background, man. How'd you get started in YouTube, and what's your goals?
Okay, so basically, man, I grew up in the hood. I grew up in the projects, grew up in poverty. The same type of thing, the toxic environments that we all experience, or many of our, our black brothers and sisters experience. I've seen a lot. I grew up in AA. My mom had, suffered from alcoholism. And so, I went to a lot of AA meetings, man. And as a very young child, I got very used to adult drug counseling and adult relationship counseling and all of these avenues that adults were trying to use to repair their lives from what started as broken relationships. So even as a child, I would sit there and I would listen to people talk about how they got off of crack or got off of heroin or got off of drugs or alcohol. And it always had stuff to do with their relationships, the first relationships they chose, the relationships they witnessed. Alcoholism and addiction of all kinds in general stems from terrible choices in relationships more often than not. Whether that's a terrible parent dynamic that you watch, from the mother not choosing a father who could actually provide love and nurturing, but abuse instead, or narcissistic tendencies, to people who are just experiencing the wrong friendships and choosing their circles the wrong way. Relationships are so much more important than we give them credit for as it pertains to our trajectory as adults, right? And so for me, watching a lot of broken women overcome addiction and overcome rape and tremendous violence behind just choosing the wrong men, my mother specifically, it brought me to a place when I was old enough to want to be the voice that I wish she had when I was a child. That damn, we in the projects, we in the hood because my father wasn't, or her father wasn't, and so on and so forth. And so a lot of guys think, oh man, you simping, man, you trying to help these women, man. These just It ain't got nothing to do with that, because broken women raise broken men and women, and how does that help the Black community? So for me, I'm very honored that you said socially, right, responsible, and socially, because that matters to me, man. Our people are suffering because we suffer from a lack of knowledge and self-knowledge. And so for me, not to make a long story short, but my whole thing is really to help the Black man and help the Black woman through my giving back to the Black woman and to women in general, because no matter who you are, white, Black, brown, whoever the hell color, you're going to need to have positive relationships to impact your community in the right way, because our children of the next generation, they all need healthy relationships. And it has to start with better decision making and better discernment. And if motherfuckers that don't stand for nothing don't like that, if motherfuckers who just looking to get their dicks wet don't like that ain't got nothing to do with me. Yeah. What I'm not doing is Wendy Williams in this shit, though, right? I ain't out here talking that shit about no man trying to make it look like we all perfect. Yeah. But I'm trying to make sure that people understand that, certain priorities matter when choosing your circle and when choosing your tribe and when choosing your partner. And that's what I'm about, man.
Ooh, let me say something just real fast. Okay, I need everybody to actually, peep what the hell just happened here. You see this circle right here? Because we're the good dudes. When people be on that, nice guy. No. This is what the good dudes do. Right. Your good dude is accountable. Your good dude runs and doesn't take from anybody. Your good dude is responsible, and he's about nation building, about financial stability, and about generational wealth, which means you have to take, committed relationships seriously. So, ladies, get with a fucking good guy. Yeah. That's it. But I'm done.
No, I mean, I'm with you. I just think this is important, that before we get into this, that we discern this, because, like you said, yeah, this dude is doing some genuine good in the community, genuine good for women and for men. And I think it's important that we stop categorizing and labeling people as whatever, simping or whatever you want to do. Because, we all got to, the elephant in the room. We all know what happened this week, and we all know what happened with that guy that I'm not even going to talk about. Yeah. But there is a difference between that and spitting real facts. And this brother is spitting real facts and doing good things for people out there that need it. So don't get in. Yeah, salute to that for sure. Yeah, bro. Don't get into our comments talking stupid, because this dude is doing major things. Mm-hmm. So let's get into it, man, because you got a lot of good advice for people who are in the dating game. But we all married on this panel, and we thought it would be a good idea for us to talk to wives. You know what I mean? To give some good advice in the marriage game.
Yeah, and to the ladies that are in committed relationships right now, not you ones in situationships, just the ones in real ones in marriage.
Right. Yeah. So let's get started with this one topic that we were going to discuss, which is the quarantine curse. Right. There's a lot of people that have been, kind of locked up and
locked down,
pinned up with their significant others. And to some, they've come out of this quarantine, better, stronger, relationship doing good. Mm-hmm. And then to some others, it has not worked out that way. So we wanted to know kind of what is your advice for, people whose relationships kind of have been on the rocks due to overexposure, maybe?
I think that it's really important to figure out what your relationship is built on, right? Like, you can start a relationship, they always say a house built on sand, right, will soon wash away. you can build your relationship over. You can rebuild the foundation of your relationship. And I think that a lot of times we see this with people who are experiencing empty nest syndrome, right? So a couple have 4 or 5 kids, all of them in college, the last one leaves. Now they've got to figure out who they are as a couple because they don't have those kids to team up on and register that connection in their job as parents together, right? And so a lot of people, whether or not there was a empty nest syndrome or a thing with the kids, a lot of people are realizing with this quarantine that we're not really equipped to spend 4 or 5 days in a row together, right? Outside of a vacation, we're not really equipped to spend 37 days looking each other in the face. We don't have that type of connection. We don't know each other as well as we thought we knew each other. Or we haven't worked on ourselves since we, in the ways we needed to since we got together. So the biggest issue I'm seeing with these quarantine relationships that are crumbling, that are having issues, is not necessarily that 2 people can't be together, 2 people don't want to be together, but they have gotten away from what brought them together, and they've grown in separate, different ways, right? The trajectory of a person, if we're just using angles for an example, a man might be growing at 45 degrees, but as a woman is growing at 60 degrees, right? They're not going to get to the same place, right? So this quarantine has been a very healthy and a very necessary evil for a lot of relationships that people want to remain, in place, and people want to last forever, because you realize in this moment, after spending 21 days with your partner, that we're growing in 2 different directions. How do we get back on track, right? And so I think that a lot of people are experiencing that, and the people who are deciding to do something about that and work on themselves first, to value their own journeys, to become the growth that they wish to see in their relationship, are actually coming out much stronger in their relationships. But people who are looking at their partner like, who the fuck are you? How did I get, what's your name again? Those people are, first of all, suffering shock at realizing that, damn, we've really grown apart. We've grown separate, right? But also, we are bombarded with not only temptation, but the imagery of what's better, what's next door, the grass next door, right? And so for a lot of people who already struggle with that, who already have wandering eyes, right? To look at your partner every day and realize you've grown in 2 separate directions, and to also be able to get on the internet and fantasize about anything or anybody you want to see, and apply all of the things that your partner isn't or hasn't become or hasn't grown into to a person through fantasy that you don't know, right? It creates a lot of problems. And so people are having experiences with being obviously disenchanted with the growth of their partners, or the lack thereof in some cases, right? Because you should have a backup plan. You shouldn't be struggling because you've got to sit down for 2 months. You should have 2 months together, right? You should have your financial stewardship in place. You should be fiscally responsible enough that you could sit down for 6 months, if we're being realistic about this, or more, but people didn't have a lot of options. You bring struggle and poverty into things. Everybody always fights over money. If you look at the marriage statistics about, what causes divorce, right? Over half of the divorces have something to do with money disagreements and money management, or half the arguments start about money. You put 2 broke people in a room who haven't spent this much time together with each other, you got the damn trifecta. You got people who wanted to be something who didn't become it. You got people who are now realizing how broke they are because they have to sit and talk about their finances or reconcile what they did with the fact that they don't have any in place and they're doing very badly. And then you got people who haven't learned to grow with each other, so they don't even relate to each other in the same way mentally or emotionally or spiritually. So you got this huge, it's a trifecta of all these different issues, whether it's financial, whether it's material, whether it's energetic, that's causing people to realize that I don't know my partner and I feel single right now. How do we get back together? How do we start right now again all over? And it's hard for people.
Thanks. I wanted to actually speak on that because a lot of men, lost their gigs, as well as like a lot of women out there too. When a man loses his job, most women really don't understand, what we go through. Like, even my wife was watching I think it's the one with my man Sterling. This Is Us.
Oh yeah.
And I guess there's a couple on there where a guy lost his gig, and I guess the brother-in-law was basically like, hey, whatever you need, but his pride was basically like, no, I don't need nothing, and X, Y, Z. Right. But I had to explain to her, you have no idea what it's like to be a man, because our purpose is to freaking labor. Right. It's just like with you guys kind of get miserable when we're miserable, and then when we're miserable and we don't have labor, we don't have this person, the house falls. In this day and age, 2021. A lot of women cannot fathom that. So I don't want to say they're not listening, but how come they have not grasped onto the fact that, like, this is not a pride issue. This is what we do. This is our purpose.
Thank you. First of all, I appreciate you even bringing that up. I think I'll make a video about that, and I think that.
Oh, you haven't made one about this shit?
yeah.
It's fired over here.
It's the Raw. No, Rawcast. What's up, Raw? Go ahead.
Look, I've had a discussion with my wife a lot of times. Some women just have no idea of the amount of pressure a real man endures to make sure that his family prospers, that he has a legacy, that his kids don't have to struggle, especially if he struggles. He grew up in the projects like me, grew up under violent tendencies, alcoholism, drugs, seen the crack rock at 9 years old, breaking it down on the trash can. Like, I don't want none of this.
Damn, Kev, you're supposed to be a dope dealer. What, you in the wrong profession?
I'm the exception, not the rule, man.
Yeah, you are.
Some great things, man. And I had good big brothers who just cared about that role because I didn't have it, man. And my big brothers was gangsters, so I didn't have to do that. But I come from a hard place, man. And for me, like I said, I talk to my wife all the time about, I've talked to her a lot about the pressure that she might not be able to relate to, and this is where we differ. Real men are obsessive about carrying out their responsibilities to make sure that their families are okay, that they're straight. People think provide and protect. Well, you got a job? Okay, can you fight? Man, I wish it was that damn simple. Because I done got in a lot of fights. I knocked somebody's ass out. That ain't got nothing to do with it. I take an ass whooping, I give an ass whooping, and I got a job. Fine, but that is not provision and that is not protection. Right? A real man cares about protecting the security, the mental, the spiritual, the physical security of his people. And he's also trying to figure out how to get them to the next level. I don't want my sons to just start getting money at 30, like I start getting money at 30. I don't want my sons to have to start where I started, which is with nothing. I want them to start where I end up, right? I want them to continue it and carry that legacy on. So when you start talking about a man lost his job, lost his livelihood, or is losing his earning potential because the ceiling drops, right? In the pandemic where people aren't purchasing if he sells or people aren't buying if he serves. It's like it handicaps a man. Everything you are and know yourself to be is all of a sudden crunched into what are you now? What do you provide now? Well, I can kick somebody's ass, but nobody's threatening us. So I really don't have a purpose, right? Like, what am I doing for my family? And for men who care about their families, who got kids or just have a wife that you honor to the death, you want to provide something. You want to be of value to them, and it makes you feel like less of a man. It makes you feel small. It makes you feel handicapped, emasculated. All of these things when you can't give that to your woman, or you can't give that to your family, or when you realize that you're this close to telling them that we ain't got it this month. Like I heard so many times when I was a kid, oh, we ain't got it. Till I stopped asking. Man, I don't want my son to have no complex about asking for what he wants because he know it can't be provided for him, right? I had to learn to ask for shit I wanted because I never had the shit I wanted because I learned not to ask for it because we ain't never had shit, right? As an adult, I'm just learning how to ask for what I want, negotiate harder, demand shit, right? But that's that trauma, right? And I don't want to give my family that trauma. So when I start thinking of what I've been through, y'all start thinking of what y'all been through, the worst case scenario, the things you've had to survive and endure, and then you look at your earning potential shrink, all of those fears and all of those effects that you felt and know how hard they can be become your number one fear. And you don't want that for your family. So there's a level of stress that most women won't understand simply because now single mothers can understand it to a degree, definitely. Yeah. But a woman who has a good man is going to be detached from the pressure on a man's shoulders to be a real man who cares about his family and carries out his responsibilities. So absolutely, brother, I'm with you on that.
That's a great point too, because like you said, I think people don't realize the fact that all the eyes are going to be on the man ultimately when it comes to the success and failure of the family. I know we talk about, of course, everybody has their importance and their things that they need to do. But at the end of the day, if we out on the street, they're not looking at nobody else but us. Why is it that he ain't doing what he needs to do? Why is he not taking care of his business? You know what I'm saying? So it is very important that people understand that pressure is there, that we're dealing with that every day, and, really be supportive in that because, the rest of the world don't care, especially when it comes to black men. They don't care about our position, right? Like we got to fend our own. Which actually is a good segue into another thing that I wanted to talk to you about. We wanted to talk about, which is when it comes to that. And so now we've established that in this quarantine, there is that pressure cooker. A lot of realities come to light, if your relationship is not built on a proper foundation. I wanted to segue a little bit into the idea of nagging your mate. right? Because I think that kind of correlates. There's a lot of women, of course we love women on here, but we got to be real, that tend to move towards nagging in order to get what they want from their man. And we already talked about the pressure that we go through. What is it, for one, that gets people into thinking that is a solution that we should go to in order to get what they want? Why is it that you feel women have been drawn to that as a solution to go to?
Yeah, why does the brat exist?
basically.
Overall, mostly first and foremost, first of all, I end up talking on the phone with many of the naggers, right? Because I counsel women, and ultimately I talk to a lot of women in relationships, marriages, dating, situationships that, they'll say, listen, I've been nagging a little bit, a lot of times that nagging is just a communication skill hole, right? Like you got a wall of your skills and the things that you bring to a relationship, right? And you got holes in your wall, and we all have holes in our walls. One of the most common holes for women to have in their wall, right, their skill set and their foundation is the communication of clarity, right? So for those of them who like us to guess or just know or just be without them telling us, sometimes a man is tunnel vision. He has pressure, right? We talked about that pressure. I'm more focused on the pressures I have to provide. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want my son's name to not mean nothing. I don't want him to have subconscious bias toward himself and feel like he's impoverished and doomed to that. I used to have a homeboy that said, man, I'm from the hood, I'm gonna be in the hood. And we couldn't convince him nothing else. So when you start thinking of that, and then your tunnel vision on that, you need to be focused on a lot of things. Us guys, we need to learn how to multitask a little bit more, or at least pull ourselves into a place of clarity, so we can hear our wives, so they don't have to nag. But at the same time, when the woman nags, it's because she has a hole in her communication skill. She's not equipped to communicate her emotions in a way that she's found that you receive them. Not saying she's a terrible communicator, but two people speak different languages, right? I always say you have to speak to people in their language, right? Even in the Black community, when you look at the, police brutality, their language is blood, their language is violence. As a man, if something happened to my son, I'm gonna speak their language. I'm not holding no son. Even so, in a relationship, if your woman is nagging you, it's because she hasn't found a language that resonates with your heart. Then it's time for both of y'all to go to couples counseling. It's time for both of y'all to sit down and figure out where the disconnect is, because you're not hearing it. Because if she's nagging about it, it means it's unresolved. You haven't done it. But if she's nagging about it, it's also because she hasn't adequately communicated it in a way that makes it connect to you, right? And we speak different languages. For instance, a man might, they don't call it nagging when it comes from a man, but you said a few things over and over to your wife, like, damn, can I just get this?
It's called lecturing when we do it.
Yeah.
It's lecturing. Exactly. It's lecturing, like, oh, really, this shit again? Okay. So you like a dad or a parent talking to your wife, which makes you feel small because you don't want to minimize her. You want your queen empowered, right? And so it's just two people learning to communicate with each other. And if you can't do that, it's just best to go to counseling, best to go to a communication coach who can, first of all, get both of your, almost like a mediator. You know how mediators keep people from getting fired? Hey, y'all quit cussing each other out on the job. What do you want, sir? What do you want? Right. Okay, how about you do this? In the same way, sometimes a relationship mediator or relationship communication coach or somebody who can just get both of your sides and figure out what you're trying to say to each other and what function is most important for you to serve for your partner, and then communicate that in maybe a different language or teach you how to communicate that. But even if you're not going to get coaching, you have to reconcile that we clearly aren't communicating correctly, and I want certain things, I need certain things. And if we haven't learned the priorities and the needs of our partners, it's one, because we haven't been paying attention, or two, because they haven't expressed them. So it's time to have one of those come to Jesus moments, or come to Allah moments, come to the universe, the nature, Mother Nature, whoever you believe in, and reconcile what your communication skills are, and also what those intrinsic needs are that you're not getting from your partner. But nagging is a direct result of a person not being able to communicate with you, or you never being receptive to communication or judgment or criticism, which creates nagging because it's easier, right? We always fall to the lowest common denominator, the easiest thing to do. And generally our ego or our rage or our disappointment is going to minimize whatever complexity we had and going to just send it right to the most, obviously the common denominator, the most negative thing we can push on. And in general, if you're pissed, you're tired of explaining it in a diplomatic manner, right? Diplomacy is for the patient, right? But you've lost patience at this point. So when a woman is nagging, she's lost patience. She's put down the air of needing you to understand her or needing you to agree with her and meet her in the middle and be one with her. Now she's talking at you and she's not moving with you. And so that's a symptom of two people not hearing each other, not listening, not being receptive to communication, but also communicating poorly. Because if she's nagging, it's because you don't have communication skills sometimes as well, right? Because I know I lack communication skills in certain areas because of my upbringing, right? I can't communicate all of my emotions because I come from a traumatic place, right? I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm moving and evolving through it, but I have some stumbling blocks, man. I'm not perfect, right? And in the same way, my wife has stumbling blocks related to her experience. And so you have to start from your intrinsic needs and values, but you have to consider the experience, the household, the communication style of the parents that were bringing that person up, the communication style of the work environment that we spend so much of our lives in. We spend a third of our lives at work, man.
Yeah.
We learn our communication values from a bunch of strangers who we would rather not even know, let alone bring them to our home and let them dictate how we speak to our spouses. But a woman in power is going to talk to people a certain way and then come home and bring that shit. A guy in power is going to talk to people a certain way and then come home and bring that shit. A guy in power might not go listen to subordinates because we don't listen to subordinates. We talk to bosses, right? Yeah. Your wife end up feeling like a subordinate. So there's a lot of different reasons that people nag, but it's always a symptom of the ability to receive each other's language, whatever that is.
Yeah. Facts.
Woo.
Wow. That's bars, man.
Woo.
I mean, I don't think we even need to go no farther with that. You done summed it up, brother.
Damn.
Oh no, man! That's respect, man. Really appreciate that insight. We're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we will be talking a little bit more around this topic. We're gonna talk about a little bit some of the red flags of a man who's checked out a relationship. Talk a little bit about some other topics that I'm not even going to divulge, but I know the homie really wants to get into.
I'm gonna divulge.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So, to our fans, thank you for keeping with us. We will be back in a minute. This is the CO2 Carbon Ops Rawcast. See you in a second. We are back. Thank you, everybody, for hanging in with us. Once again, this is the CO2 Carbon Ops Rawcast, and we are back with our guest, Kev Hick. My dude, man, when we left, we were talking about, the quarantine curse, and we got into a little bit about, about the nagging situation. I want to kind of spin it a little bit and talk to us about when you're in a relationship and we're starting to reach that curve downward, when things are starting to fall apart for real, and it's not just small arguments. Now everything is a problem, and you're getting to the end of the rope. So our question is, how for the wives or for the females in the relationship, how can they tell when a man has finally checked out, basically, in a relationship, when they've given up? And if they with that advice, what can somebody do to salvage that relationship if it's possible?
One of the main signs that a guy is giving up or a guy is getting to the end of his rope is that it's two, right? We always operate in the equal and opposite poles, right? So either a man is stopped compromising completely. Everything becomes about what he wants. He don't give a damn about who he offends or what you think about it. He doesn't care to compromise anymore or to collaborate. That's one. Or he goes in the completely opposite direction, which is a broken man, and generally an alpha male or a male who's naturally dominant, stop compromising. If a guy's not so a beta, he's, maybe a guy that's not so alpha, and he's maybe a beta or omega, or, pick another one of those. They have so many different types now. They're trying to, and I think all of this low-key bullshit. It doesn't even apply to wolves but we've learned to identify with them. But let's say a guy's not alpha, but he's a beta as we understand them as humans, right? Right. Then he might, instead of refusing to compromise, he'll completely give up all his will and just do whatever it takes to keep you shut the hell up, right? So neither one of those are good. If a man is sacrificing himself because he's just surviving you, you didn't win, right? I always quote Rosie Perez in White Man Can't Jump. She said, listen, Billy, sometimes when you win, you really lose. And sometimes when you lose, you really win. If a guy is letting you win everything, or he doesn't even put up a fight anymore, he seems broken, right? He's put his masculinity down, put his leadership down, and he's letting you just make all the decisions because he's broken, and he's checked out of having hope that you can compromise or collaborate. If a guy has completely just started dominating you, refuses to collaborate, refuses to compromise, doesn't care about what you think in the utmost, like, he's checked out. He doesn't care about you. He's not holding on to you. He's not trying to give you a reason to stay. He hopes you get so offended that you get the hell out of his face or out of his life. Or he's hoping that it comes to a quick and abrupt end. And he'll just be such an asshole that you say, hey, I can't take this and I'm out of here. Right? And so we're always hoping for the end in one way or another. The beta generally is going to be letting you win everything, but he's going to be planning his exit. He's the type of guy to just disappear on your ass. You don't know what to happen. Way back. Yeah. And what's funny is you can be an alpha male at your job. You can be an alpha male on your sports team. You could be the captain of the football team, and then get with a woman who breaks you and who emasculates you to a degree that you start to become more beta in your relationship. Yeah. Beta, as we understand it, I think it's bullshit, but people identify with those traits. So. Yeah. As we understand it, you can take a man who is a solid leader and create a beta out of him, emasculating him in certain small ways throughout the relationship, especially when the fear of divorce, loss of revenue, money, custody battles are looming over his head. Even if I'm strong and I want my kids, I need access to them, I'll take I'll take the L, right? So when you start talking about people who are in relationships or marriages who have kids involved, a lot of times even an alpha male will just give up all hope and let you just run because he does not want to lose his kids or all of the fortune that he's been working so hard for. And, sometimes 50% is appropriate because y'all did it together, but sometimes 15% is more appropriate if he did it himself and you just joined in after he already had it, right? Mm-hmm. And we know that 15 ain't coming. We ain't never heard that shit in court. So no. A lot of times a guy will, it depends, but a guy will either take over and dominate you, or he'll let you dominate him. And that's usually one of the signs that a guy's checked out.
You know what? I gotta sneak this one in. Got to play devil's advocate. Panda alert. Is it possible that nagging is more like a defense mechanism? Is it like a sign for like helplessness? I mean, just imagine, I can only imagine you're with this man. He lost his gig and I feel helpless. I don't know what to do. I don't want to get on his case, but you're a black man. It's going to be hard for you to get employment elsewhere. We got bills. We got kids. I don't mean to nag, but I'm losing it.
Yeah. No, nagging is in general also associated with the fear that this isn't working. Yeah. Right. So because it's efficient, right? You can just complain about some shit quick. It doesn't take any, forethought or anything like that. You already know what you're mad at. But a lot of times it's that helplessness that you referred to. When the person starts to lose hope that they can get through to you, then they use the easiest, most efficient method to communicate their anger, their upset, their indifference, their anxiety, or whatever, right? So if I have faith in your ability to comprehend where I'm coming from, then I'm going to apply a greater deal of complexity in how I approach you, making sure that I don't offend you, making sure that I still appear to love you in my message. When I lose hope in your ability to comprehend or do something with that, then I'll switch my messaging from, listen, baby, sometimes I feel like I'm not being heard by you, and I love you, and I love this relationship. I want to protect us. Is there a way that we can work on this particular thing, insert issue? That level of communication that feels mature, that feels gentle, that feels meek, like we want our women to be, that isn't what you get when a woman loses hope in you, right? You get the aggressive, almost a lot of times very masculine or very irritated approach to, oh my God, can't you just, can't you just, why won't you, or you never, right? They start using charge words and absolutes. You never, you always, every time. It's like nothing is never, always, or every time, right? Those are charge words, right? Because they're not true, but they're charged by a person's hopelessness, their fears, their passions, their angers, their anxieties, right? And then they start speaking it, or they're absolutes, right? And nothing is ever absolute. So when you start accusing people using charge words, absolutes, or shortening your communication, even if it has a negative impact because you don't care about the impact anymore, you just care about the result. And you can't get the result without protecting the impact. Unfortunately, people don't understand that. The impact of your message is how it affects a man. The result is what he does with that message, right? And so if you don't care about the impact, but you only care about the result at that point, then you're probably going to be nagging, as we call it, or even yelling or fighting, right? And so again, you two have to learn how to speak each other's language, and sometimes you need to go to a counselor to do that. I don't care if you can go to like a marriage counselor or a relationship counselor or even a mediator, but that's something that you need to do. But absolutely, to your point, that's hopelessness. That's people giving up. That's just loss of the faith in your partner to take that information and apply it. And now you're just pissed and you're complaining, and that comes from you being a communicator, and sometimes in some cases, or your partner being a receiver of valid information and being able to self-check and be introspective about what he's really offering in a relationship, right? So it's generally a sign that two people are screwed up, even though one person is exhibiting the behavior. It's just a symptom, like anything else. We got medicines for all of these symptoms of our coughs or our colds or our diseases, and they always treat the symptom, but they never treat the damn disease, right? Yeah. But in your relationship, you can't be like the pharmaceutical industry. Yeah. You have to treat the disease and not the symptom. Yeah. The symptom is nagging. The issue is she doesn't feel heard. She's starting to be hopeless, right? And that there needs to be a change made. But the symptom of him not hearing you and doing nothing with that information, maybe you're not speaking his language, or you're making him feel inferior, you're emasculating him, or he's feeling unappreciated, which is a huge thing that stops us from listening to shit. I ain't taking your shit, and I ain't hearing no more complaints, because I'm not going to apologize for a job well done. That's how I feel. Yeah, I said that to a boss, like, bro, I did a good job. Fuck y'all. Yeah, like that's how at work, like straight up at work. Right. And because if you know you're doing your damnedest to be a great man, and somebody's treating you like you ain't shit, and it's like, it's some ain't shit people out here. Yeah, it's some real ain't shit out here. You want to talk to some of them? Please do. Please don't put me on that bar, because I'm not at that bar. Yeah. Right. But I think we all just want to be heard, and when we lose hope, people nag, people fight. But when you're fighting, it's just, that's a communication issue, and that could always really be solved. If you just got to slow yourself down and take yourself out of it.
I was going to say, people, get real help as well when you get to that position. Yeah, don't keep always going on social media and all that stuff. I know we're on social media and stuff, like we do our best, but at a certain point, like sometimes you need to get some real help if you really want to make some changes. And I love that point that you made about how nagging is almost synonymous. It's like a sign that issues are unresolved, because it's facts. Like you wouldn't care enough to want to keep nagging if there was nothing in you that needed to be fixed, right? So I get it as guys, like saying we hate nagging, but we also got to be aware that there's probably something behind that too. Yeah, it's preventative though. It's definitely preventative, but again, like it takes two. We got to get to a point where we understand, okay, there's obviously a problem here. How can we fix this? You know what I mean? Because we want to be happy, right? Yeah. Let's sidetrack, man. I know you got something that you really want to talk about, what you got, man? Let's go to it.
We getting on the side chicks. We getting on you side chicks today. Okay. We about to shame the side chicks. Okay, now
do I got to put an alert up side chick corner?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna point right here so you can do it right. Yeah. Throwing a little graphic here or something. Okay. But no, let's get into it. Blood, you actually already had like you said, you had a podcast episode. It's funny because it's one of your earliest ones because, I believe somebody emailed you with an interest in another guy, but they're trying to kind of make it seem like they really wasn't interested. But it's like, yo, you're talking to me about another woman's man. Cut the bullshit. Like, dude, quit playing. Yeah. But now the side chick wins. Like, even with the situation of who, I bet you her subscriber or follower count went up just because of who she was messing with. even though he had to go on YouTube and make a little video with his wife and, try to rectify it. But guess what?
Right.
She gets rewarded with more influence now, more followers, just like every other chick that was messing with like a married man. Why is the side chick winning? How come more women, more wives, more girlfriends aren't coming after these girls' necks?
I think it's the side chick is the fuck boy for females.
I like
Boys are winning, man.
Yeah.
Boys are winning, bro. They winning. And now they control the narrative as well. Right? So side chicks and boys control the narrative and they win. Side chicks and boys go on social media and they label shit. Right? They usually open their mouth. They have a lot to say. They usually tell on somebody or do reveals or tell-alls or, even this started with the confessions of the video vixen. Remember that shit? Y'all remember that book?
Ultimate.
She had a bunch of grown ass men trying to read through the pages to see what she thought of Shaq's thing.
Sweat.
Like straight up. Dude was like, wait a minute, 7'2" and what you say?
Yep.
He like
with the church rag and everything, wiping his sweat off.
Yeah, side chicks have been winning since it became marketable to do tell-alls, right? And I think that was a huge turning point when that book came out. And I was a teenager at that point. But when you start looking at this, side chicks aren't people who are held under the same confines of morality and decency, and they can assume morality because they hide behind their badge of being a woman. When you come after them, it's like, I'm a woman. So a man can't say nothing to him, and a woman is going to be like, we need to stick together. But the side chick is screwing that woman's man and getting on social media, talking down on a man and doing reveals and tell-alls and kissing and telling and using men and suing them and, taking their money and extorting them and doing all of these things. And then they live in life because they look good. Side chicks always keep themselves together, right? Side chicks are competing and competitive.
Yeah, I never seen another side chick.
It's not a thing. The side chick had to be that. And a lot of wives sometimes don't really take the value and just what it means to maintain the level of fitness and the level of care that you took in yourself when the man first met you, right? That's what attracted him. That's what will keep him, or that's what can keep him or contribute to you keeping him, at least the sparks in the bed and just sustaining that portion of your relationship. Side chicks live to be better looking than you. Side chicks live to be sneaky. They live to keep secrets. And so just like the hater atmosphere in YouTube or any social media, think about it, all the haters, all the gossips, all the people who don't have morality to uphold are really winning. They get more views. They're more controversial. They are more successful in the masses because they're provocative, right? And provocateurs don't have a problem keeping the attention of people. And side chicks' whole thing is attention. They get the attention of a man who's not supposed to have their attention, right? Who is not supposed to be looking at them and looking that way. And so because they're provocateurs and because they're seductresses, they're always going to win. They don't have any responsibility to the truth or to morality or to integrity, right? And so anybody playing outside of the confines of the rules will always win the game. You ain't going to sit down and play Monopoly with no motherfucker that hides his cards, steals money from the bank when nobody's looking, hides hotels. I don't know where Boardwalk card is. I just can't buy Boardwalk anymore.
That's my brother. He did that shit all the time.
You don't even want to play board games with people who cheat, right? But side chicks and boys are cheating in the game of life as it pertains to how they approach relationships. So they're winning, but again, at the end of the day, we have to just believe that at some point cheaters never prosper. But it's a damn shame how good it looks, when some people are doing.
No, see, and this is what kills me because on the other side of the spectrum, as men, we enabled it. Just imagine you have a baddie, a baddie, who knows like, but you're married, and know what we say? I know, but look, what do I got to do to keep you around? She ain't got to know, I just want to come around here once in a while. I want to smash, and we can say it's on some beta shit, but it's like, I want to keep you. I think that's what the problem is. It's like we want to keep the side chick, and then feelings end up growing. And so now it ends up developing into an affair. For those of y'all that be trying to figure out what's the difference between cheating and affair, feelings are involved. Cheating is just an action. You cheated if you smashed an escort or something, you know. But the moment you took, you smashed the chick, and then y'all went to Waffle House, that's an affair. You gave her free attention after that. Shout out to ARC. That's what happened.
Or you pillow talked and told her your woman isn't pleasing you in bed.
Oh man,
y'all heard this?
Yeah. Come on.
Man, I would never utter nothing insulting about my woman, even if it was true. Like I would never utter that. That becomes cheating. Now you're leaning on her for emotional advice and energetic affection. It's just different, bro. So yeah, continue. I'm sorry.
Honestly, I think that's what it is right there. Because this is seduction. One of the greatest things a woman can ever do. It's like what they say about men. You get a woman's mind, you got it. When a woman gets the hold of a man's heart, like, I don't see why your wife wouldn't even please you. I mean, you're so protective. Like, I feel so safe around you. Oh my God, my heart's beating. Yep. I'm going to want to do everything for you.
That's appreciation. She's feigning appreciation.
Yes.
Appreciation is one of the keys to a man to be acknowledged and to be appreciated. Think about it. The black man is the most bastardized human being on the earth, right? We're hated, we're despised, we're threatening to everyone, even ourselves. We look at ourselves. You see two niggas walking down the street, but with them, okay, you got to make sure, and so you when you think about the hatred and the vitriol and the indifference and the just absolute annoyance that we're met with in life in general. And the emasculation and the dehumanization that we experience, all a woman have to do is see you as a human, appreciate your goodness, acknowledge who you are and what good things you've done. She can be bullshitting. She can feign appreciation. She can feign admiration. She can feign desire. To get next to the bag or whatever, but because black women are ultimately denied appreciation at the same levels as men of every other race, in honor and respect and reverence. Anytime a woman wants to seduce a black man who's been through something and who's felt underappreciated, who's felt unloved, all she has to do is feign that appreciation, feign that admiration, feign that love. Oh, you deserve so much better. Why would she do that to you? You deserve head every day. I remember, that's what they do. Oh, she don't stick you every day. Oh, she don't make love to you. Oh,
you know how sad that is, man.
She don't cook and clean. She don't cook and clean.
But that's facts. That's facts.
Yeah,
I mean, we're so like you said, that is a great point, man. We are so hungry for that respect that we'll take it even if it ain't real, because we it's black men, we don't get it the way
we
that
got mommy issues.
Yeah, I think that is bars, and I want to touch on something. I want to get a little deeper with this. So because we kind of touched on it, but I want to clarify. When I really kind of think of three different types of side chicks when you think about it, right? There's obviously the side chick that don't know they're a side chick, and once they find out, then they're out. There's the side chick that knows they're a side chick, but they don't really care. They just kind of all right, if it it is what it is, this works for me in my situation. But then there's that third side chick who knows they're a side chick, but they position it, right? They don't want to stay there. They want to take the role of the wife or the significant other or whatever.
The homewrecker?
Exactly. Yeah. There's that ultimate side chick, the homewrecker. But what's funny to me is it seems like social media doesn't really discern between the three. They almost treat all three as if it's the same category, right? So you side chick that don't know they side chick gonna get the same flack or the same opportunities that the one who meant to do this would get. What's your take on that? Why do you think social media is so tunnel vision when it comes to this stuff sometimes?
Because the complexity of thought doesn't exist across complex audiences, right? So when you start thinking about the level of understanding that the common person is going to apply to anything, right, is going to be somewhere in the lower middle. Right? We simplify everything. That's why people look at my genre or look at my channel. I got 260 something, 270. Somebody like, oh, simping. You ain't watched the video. You ain't did nothing. But your level of understanding is so narrow the level of understanding is so narrow to a lot of people that they can't look at my content and see the intricacies and the fullness of thought there, right? Because they don't think in fullness, right? And not because I'm greater or smarter, but just that people apply the simplicity to everything they can to make life more efficient. In the same way, when people look at, when people observe behaviors, they can't say, well, that woman is traumatized. She was always abused. Her daddy didn't love her. She looked for his, we don't want to go into all of that shit. the motivations behind a woman just being a quiet side chick and never really wanting love because she's had some traumatic experience versus a woman who's taking a lot of pleasure in hurting someone else and contributing to it, right? So because there's so much complexity in human behavior, we just say, well, she's just a side chick whore, or all of them are the same, right? All of them are the same, all of them are wrong, and every wrong is the same. And it's not, right? There's a lot of complexity as it pertains to why people behave the way they do. But we don't apply that knowledge or that critical thought to any of it. All we have to do to be in the good graces or in agreement with the masses, right? Because everybody wants to be in the winning side of the argument. No one wants to jump into an argument and be disagreed with, right? The contrarian, for the most part, is a very rare personality type. So there's no complexity of thought among broad audiences because everybody's just trying to be right. And so when they figure out what the common denominator between people who agree is, they adopt some form of that so they can be on the right side of the argument because no one wants to be on the losing side. And also, people just don't have that complexity of thought. Some of them they don't have the capacity or bandwidth to formulate the ideas around why a person does a thing that they do and what experiences contributed to that. And what motivations are moving a person, right? So we don't speak to the motivations or intention to a person. We just speak to what they did, the behavior, right? And that's why it's very dangerous for some people who don't have that critical thought or that capacity or bandwidth to think in greater complexity to watch YouTube because they will simplify the shit they watch and apply it to their lives and ruin their lives because of it.
Wow. Bars. All right. Well,
this that whack.
This is that time, man. This is the whack time. Yeah. Man, Kev, we really, I mean, I can't even count how many bars you spit on this episode, brother. Like that was big time.
Like 4 mixtapes right now.
Yeah. Man, thank you for being on the show, man. We really do genuinely appreciate you taking this time. And this is, let me do a side note to the people out there. This is a message, man. Mm-hmm. This dude did not need to come on our show. This dude is already doing big things on YouTube, and he chose to take time to come to show love to the show. And like for that, man, this is what we need to be doing in Black YouTube in general. We need to be supporting each other. We need to be working together. And it's cats like this, man, that are paving the way for a better side of YouTube. So take notes, man, because that's what we want to do. When we get up there, we're going to do the exact same thing. And man, I got to give you that love because that's big, brother.
Yeah, very humble of you, brother. Very, very
appreciate you guys, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, before we go, I do want to go ahead and take a time, to talk to the ladies. Is like, ladies, this is that good dude shit. Articulate, intelligent, responsible. Hell, we all fathers. We do this for the long run. We do this for you. We love you.
Of course.
We do not hate you. We love you. Yes, some of y'all out there be on some delusional shit. But y'all real ones out here, we do this for you if you're willing to listen and be a part of the conversation. And that's real talk. One love. In the meantime, how do they find you?
Well,
Kev,
no.
How they find you?
Yeah, Kev, man. How can they find you, brother?
Just go to Kev Hick Talks Guys with Girls at YouTube. Just put Kev Hick in, KEV space HICK. I own that tag. If you put that in, you're going to find all my videos. I have 2 channels, Kev Hick Talks Live, or maybe it's Kev Hick Talks Everything Podcast. I'll be changing the name of that second because it's smaller. But, if you just put Kev Hick in, you find one of my 2 channels, man. If you put Kev Hick in any podcast app you have, you can pull up any one of my 2 or 3 podcasts, man. So just put the words Kev Hick in the search bar and you're going to find my shit, man.
Dope, brother.
How can they find you?
For me, if you care, you can find me on Diggy City on Instagram. I'm bullshit today, man. I'm tired. You can find me on Diggy City on Instagram and on Twitter, and as well as Facebook. What about you?
And of course, you can find your dude on the gram, Good Evening Mr. Black. Also on Twitter, Evening Mr. Black. And make sure you follow the show's Instagram, CO2 Rawcast, and make sure you hit our IGTV miniseries where we talk all that bullshit, the CO2 Rawcast, and hit us up on Facebook, talk shit, comment, or leave us a little message of what topic you would like us to embrace that you would like to hear.
Yes. So thank you everybody for being a part of this episode. It was a great one. Go ahead and go to Kev Hick's pages, subscribe, like all of his videos and stuff. You'll be a better person, as we say. And till next time, man, this is the CO2 Carbon Ops Rawcast. We will see you next time. Peace. Flip side. We out.
Well, love, y'all.